Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner AFRY. AFRY is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it. I have the pleasure to welcome Joakim to Urbanistica podcast. Hey, and welcome Joakim.
Hey Mustafa, it's great to be here.
Thank you so much for giving your valuable time to record the episode.
Yeah, it's no problem. It's my wife's time to lay the child to bed, so I just rather get out of the house and into the man cave and stay away from there.
How are you doing, Joakim?
I'm doing great. It's newly Christmas time here in Västerås, Sweden, so it's about to start park season again. Now we have eaten much of food, so we have to go out and spend those calories.
Yeah, and by the way, Happy New Year to you and to your lovely family.
Yeah, the same to you.
So Joakim, I was reading about you. I was following you on Instagram. You're doing a really crazy good job, and that's why you're here to inspire us. So let's start with you. You're our storyteller. How would you like to introduce yourself, and please tell us about your passion?
Yeah, I'm just an ordinary father who has been in a park or too many, or at least more than the rest of the fathers, I think. And me and my daughter Ada, we have a joint passion with testing all the parks in the city we live in, Västerås, and finding new exciting parks in other cities as well when we have the time to go elsewhere. When I'm not visiting parks, I love to work with AI and IoT. So that is my true passion, and this is a great thing to get away from that. Just be analog for a while.
So, and what are you specifically working with AI? Like, what do you do?
I work in ABB University, ABB Gymnasium, and it's the brightest children in Sweden, and we teach them to make self-driving cars and smart lampings and such things, and they get university points and such. So we give them a fun start to the life, and hopefully many of them will do great things and change the world for the better.
Yeah, of course. Sounds very promising. So, Joakim, you started this project. You call it in Swedish Parkpappan. How do you call it in English?
I have I've been away from the English language so long, so I thought it was just Park Daddy, but it's Playground Daddy, of course.
Yeah.
So when I think about it, park is another word in English. So yeah. Playground Pappy.
Yes.
Daddy, of course.
Yes, Playground Daddy. So to tell us about the background of all this.
Yeah, I am a computer scientist, and they very close to engineer in their obsession about always having something to do. So I found a map on the Västerås city's webpage, a very bad developed map, but it worked. So I found different parks and I tried them out. Then my girlfriend, my daughter's mother, came up with the idea to put everyone on Instagram and give them grades. So then it became a real passion because there was 111 parks on that map. So I had to do for a while.
So you looked at the map, there were the playgrounds in your city, and you'd be like, I will visit every single one of them.
Yeah, exactly. It was more like a question, can I visit everyone? Because they were put out there with GPS, but it was not very correct all the time. Sometimes it was off with 1 kilometer, so I had to figure out where is this, because I looked at like a shirt, and then I found it's probably there, and so it became like a treasure hunt, but with parks.
Yeah, exploring your own city as well.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm not from here. I'm from a small town from the beginning, so this is it's been a nice way to learn to the city you live in. You know of every area now. Otherwise, I just heard about them from people, and everyone which lives in one area trashes the other areas. So
Yeah.
now I have learned that every area is very good. Actually, it isn't as bad as people tell you.
Great to hear that. But like my question now, why you're like, do you have the time to go around with your daughter to visit the park? You're not working?
Yeah, in Sweden you can have it's maternity leave, so it's even for a father can be at home for from a half year to a year and get a bit of your pay, not all, but you have enough to live and enjoy the time with your child. So I have been home now from June, and I will be home to start of February. So I have a lot of time. We have 5 days a week with our sons. So that there's very much time to get something to do of it.
Yeah, I can imagine investing time in a good way. Like from the first moment, did you decide that you will visit all the parks, you will rate all the playgrounds, or no? It's the story developed during the time.
No, because of the engineer part of me, it was all the way from the start. I didn't
Okay.
have any half promises. It was all or nothing. So
All in.
possession directly.
Okay, so you had a map. What did you say? 110 playgrounds?
Yeah, it's a bit up for discussion. The community, Västerås City, they said, yeah, it's about 120 parks. We don't really know. And I counted it to 112 parks, but one was removed and they had it still on the map. So I
Okay.
don't know if it should count. And I know that if many more people start testing, they will see that in my Instagram I have uploaded some parks 2 times because they have made changes or renovations to it. Either way you tell it, you're gonna get grilled by someone. But 111 is my final
Yeah.
final offer.
Yeah, I love it. So tell me about the story. How did you start? Like you take your daughter and you go there. What do you do?
Yeah, we go to a park. In the start of the morning, we check how much time do we got in the pre-lunch and the post-lunch, and then we decide which park we're gonna take. And in the beginning, we was really sloppy. We didn't have any planning, so we took the closest parks, and we just went there. And we did very bad because in the end now we have had to bike for half an hour to get to a park because we didn't plan correct. So planning is the key.
So you go to the park and what do you do first?
Yeah.
Like did by the way, do you did you tell your daughter that you're doing this project?
Yeah, exactly. We discussed in the morning. I try to tell her. She's 1.5 years old now. Before she was like 1 year. So I try to tell her about where we're going, what we're gonna do, and she understands that we're going to a park. So she gets excited. And if I say we're gonna bike, then she takes her helmet. And otherwise, we just go to the wagon and we go there. But when we arrive at the park, I release her, and she just runs away. Half the time she falls over the. It's a bit of. It's a wooden plank that trips children. I don't know why they always have it, but in every park there's a plank that children trips on. So when I fumble up my phone and try to take the photos, so we're done with that and can play, then she falls half of the times, and I pick her up and we go on with our lives.
I understand. So how do you evaluate a park? What are the criteria that you're use?
Yeah, we judge the playgrounds by 5 different criteria in the span of 1 to 5, with 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. The most important is a baby face. If my daughter Ada likes the park and have fun and smiles and laughs, then it's get good grades. If she runs away directly, then it's bad. So that's the most important, what she thinks. Then we have the second, which is a broom, and it represents the cleanliness of the park. If the park is not broken or dangerous or, yeah, not so good at looking, then it's good grades and otherwise bad. The third one is the environment. If it's a nice, calm, beautiful environment with lakes or mountains and stuff, it's good grades. And opposite, if it's much traffic or it's trains or stressing sounds. The fourth is a family emoji, and it symbols how many people are there in the park. So our followers have a chance to hopefully visit a park that is empty if they feel like that, or they can visit a park with many people if they are on the meeting new people type of mode. And the last one is stars, and it's the overall ranking for the park. So if it's totally a good park, it gets many stars or otherwise.
That's lovely. Tell me that you already also decided the criteria before you started
Yeah.
this.
That was more planned through, you know. I didn't add criteria and remove it, but it was hard deciding the criteria. What is the important stuff, you know? You
Yeah.
have to think about that.
Yeah.
Because in the start I wanted a daddy criteria. I wanted to know if this was a good dad park. I could do push-ups or I could climb and get strong, and that doesn't matter in reality. Who has time to do push-ups if a child is crazy and running around, you know? So I
There's no
removed
time.
that.
I understand, but let's start with the first criteria,
Yeah.
the baby phase. So do you ask your daughter if she likes it, or you just like interrupt her phase and see if she is happy? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's quite easy actually. Some parks are very bad. She runs away after 1 minute, 10 minutes, half an hour, then it's bad. And if she has fun, it's a good. But I don't ask her because she doesn't speak so good. She says no most of the time, whatever I ask her. So it's no idea asking.
So you see, like if she wants to stay there, spend time, it means that she is happy and she is like in love with this park, with
Yeah,
playground. Yeah. And you had also the environment or the nature. You mean like more the greenery, right?
Yeah, exactly. The surrounding environment. It doesn't have to be the park, the playground itself, but where it is positioned. Because some parks are right next to the the railroad. You know, I don't know what they thought, but maybe it was the only green area they had. But that can destroy very much. Some children like to point at the train and so, but most children likes no trains, no cars, no stressful sounds. Just and the parents also, you know, we are both going there to relax.
Yeah. I guess nobody on this planet likes the noise pollution.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the criteria with the people or families. What time do you visit the park? Because I think it's also affecting how many people are there.
Yeah, exactly. And we are on a schedule, so we visit in no matter if it's raining or snowing or sunny. So it's a very it's a very unreliable criteria, that one. But of course, the time, you know, we go out when it was very sunny. We went out with 8 o'clock because she was up at 6, and now we go out with 9 o'clock. And I have noticed that many, mostly moms with their wagons, so go out with 10. Before 10 you never see a mom. After 10, at 10 sharp, it's wow, poof, many moms in some parks. So it's a very it's a good for nothing, that one, but people like it anyway.
That's lovely. So tell me what like an example of a good playground with a high rating. Did you get, by the way, did you get many parks with high ratings?
Yeah, actually I got about it's about 30, 30, 30. 30 is really bad, 30 is really good, and 30 is just in between. So
Okay.
I think it's okay, because if you have 110 parks, then if you have 30 good parks in one city, it's okay.
Yeah.
Good. But I can have an example. We have the Stoltheten of Tillberga, the pride of an suburb in Västerås, Tillberga. It's very big and have activities spread out on different parts of the playground, for a bit for older kids and a bit for younger kids. So the parent can easily have 2 kids with different age groups there at the same time and have check on both. And they don't disturb each other. So that's a very good park. And I will get to it later, but spinning stuff is also very, very good for the motor skills for the children. So, but I will get to such a things later.
And any examples of low-rated park or playground?
Yeah, I said 30, 30, 30, so it just picked one out of the hat.
Yeah.
A really bad park is Ensam Accordion, it's called, and in English it's Lonely Basket, which is old, small, broken park close to a highway, and the basket is an basketball case, which doesn't work,
Yeah.
So it's both dangerous and not so pleasant to be in. So I don't know why then either remove it or make it good again, because it's I don't no one gets anything out of it. It just stands there and rot.
It's just a waste of land as well if
Yeah,
no one is
exactly.
there. Yeah.
I
When
think
you say
one time we were there, they parked on it. Some private person parked their car on it. So it wasn't a total waste of land for them.
yeah, I mean, yeah, if there is no signs that there is it's a like really good playground, then maybe people just mistaken that it's a parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Sadly, sometimes even
Yeah.
if the basketball markings go away, then you don't know what else it's been there.
Yeah.
And that's something I think people should think about when they do parks. Instead of doing 10 shit parks, make one great. Because sadly, in many of my reviews, there's only one family symbol, and that's me and my daughter. Many parks are empty because people don't go to the closest park. When they go out, they go to the best or one
Yeah.
they like. So
So
that's something to think about.
it doesn't matter if it's close or far; they go to the good one,
Yeah,
no matter
exactly.
the distance. When you say dangerous, what do you mean by this? Is like from which aspect?
One aspect is the distance to the road. Some parks are locked in; the children can't get out, but most are just open to run wherever you want. And another aspect is if it's broken, you can get hurt on uh, things that stick out and such. And sadly, one park now in Västerås, for just a couple of weeks ago, someone had put a firework there who blowed up in a children's face. So you need to look after the parks and remove dangerous stuff because the children don't know what it is and just put everything in the mouth. So in those aspects, you should not make more parks than you can look after.
Just like cannot maintain as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so these were like an example from the top and from the low rated. What did the municipality say when you? How did you document all of this, by the way?
I love Excel documents, but this I only made in Instagram because I only had my phone on me. So I put on everything on Instagram, and in hindsight, I should have used the Excel arc because now I don't know. I have looked 10 times, so I've checked all the parks, because I don't want to miss one out.
Yeah.
But I just documented it with the symbols and the ratings, and that was good enough for me. And I have had some contact with the municipality of Västerås, and they follow my Instagram and they give me updates on parks who will get renovated soon or makeover, and I visit them and tell people about it. So that's very good symmetry eller symbiose relationship that we got. And we also booked in a meeting soon in this spring that we will discuss what we think about the parks and how they can make it better. So
wow, that's amazing.
They listen to us, and that's good, I think, because it's me and the other small children's parents who are in the parks. So
yeah, exactly, like the users.
Yeah.
So you became like the person that goes to a restaurant, taste the food, and give ratings. But now you're doing it for playgrounds.
Yeah, exactly. But I I have not been a Yelper or what's it called. I've tried to give everyone a chance, and now I've given it to the park, so it's good.
When you were rating, did you talk with people or other parents that they told you, oh, but this park sucks? I mean, did somebody influence your ratings?
No, but I am very open that everyone can have their own opinion, and they should try every park, even if they look shit. Then they can be very fun. So many of our most fun parks is not neither new or very fun looking, but the children can find fun ways in everything. So, but I have had a bit of talks on Instagram where people say this is a shitty park and this is the worst park ever or such things. So Many want us to visit their parks so they can get their city to make them a new park because they're so shitty, they think. So, so I think that's
So
a way to make it happen.
yeah, so you became the Superman of creating new playgrounds.
Yeah, apparently a real critic.
But how was the engagement of the people on Instagram? Like apart from writing like, no, this park sucks. Were they happy, sad, or what are the different interactions that happen with you?
99% is real good interaction, and people either give me tips or give me their way of thinking of the park and what they call the park and such, and very happy. Many people are happy over this, and I heard from people that people I don't know talk about Parkpappan with each other, and it's been a little bit of a local crazy celebrity. So I think that's very fun because it's giving people joy, and that's the meaning of it.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it because you created like a great story, a common story for the city, but now also like internationally. I guess everyone is listening to you as well.
Yeah, and hopefully it's for the good, that it makes the parks better for all of mankind. I don't know. It's I hope I can be a force of good in the park community.
Sure. And also, so like you're doing this for fun and also because you got a baby. From the other side, we have the urban designers, architects, and the planners that actually creating these parks. And I am one of them as well. And I would love to hear from you if you can give me a kind of top 5 things that may makes your daughter happy in a playground.
Yeah, I thought about this for a very long time because we love very much in the park. We think everything is fun, but we came to a list for your sake. We like swings very much. It was the best thing in the beginning. So for smaller children, swings is total super fun. And trampolines is a new thing she likes. It's in many of the more newly developed parks, sunken into the ground, so they can jump and test their balance. Slides are of course very fun, and stuff you can turn, push, and drag. They can stand there for hours, just to spin a little whatever, whatever it is, it can spin. Then the child likes it. I can't come up with an example, but just a little button you can push is very
It's
fun
like
for a child.
there is
And
an X and O game.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even more simple, just a button they can push in and it happens something or nothing at all. They like it, so it doesn't have to be so expensive. And stuff who looks like animals, it's also very very fun. The child can make the noise and it can clap it and pet it. Yeah, pet is the word, not clap. Pet it and stuff like that, and also fake cars, boats, and mini houses. Stuff that open up the child's imagination. That's the most fun for me and my girl.
So apart from the how to say the standard object, but more like things to interact with, like
Yeah.
using your the hands, the legs, or the body, and also objects that you children can associate with the real things out of the playground.
Yeah, exactly. The child's biggest hero is her parents and or his parents. So if you live in a house, of course your child wanna play in a house or wanna drive a car and such.
In general, from your point of view as a dad, what do you like to see in a park?
Uh, that is a fun question. What I would like to see is a bit more accessible for families or daddies and moms to join the child in the play, uh, and make the child dependent on you in the play. For example, if there's one button in the height of a child, then he can push it, and then you have to push it in the height of the father or mother. so you don't just stand there with your phone. For my
Yeah.
sake, they could make phone pockets, and you need to put your phone there, and then the whole park gets interactive of the weight of the phone or something, because I think that's a problem, that the father or the mother just stands there and watch the child. It's not play with them, it's just watch them play. And I think everyone has a better time if we do something together.
Yeah, I think we are back again to the point that the interaction between the
Yeah,
object,
exactly.
the people, and yeah, I can imagine, because I also, how to say, sometimes take care of my sister's daughter, and we go to a playground, and yeah, sometimes I cannot even like enter because I am too big to,
Yeah.
but I can understand it. And also now I am reflecting about one thing. Do you know the indoor playground Leo Lekland?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think the indoor playground, they are making good money now because they have, how to say, human scale playground. Like big people can fit there, and that's why many people likes to go there.
Yeah, I think you got something to it, because uh, the child wanna play with you
Yeah,
all the time that age. So if you make it accessible for the parent and make it enjoyable for them, then everyone will be happy. I saw a program on the TV with architects, house architects, and they asked this super architect what was essential for making a loving home and a great home. And he said it's nothing about the home, it's about the people who are there. And I think it's the same for the playground. If you make it possible for the dad or mom or even the grandma to play with the child there, then it's a great park. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be the most costly park in the world.
exactly. Like fun is not really equal money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, so I think that's something that you should think about one more time. And also, all these new parks is very expensive. You know, here are the cost 1 million kroner, $100,000, and some older parks they have fake cars made about uh, by two carpenters, and it's for like 500 kroner, $50. It's no money. So make it more handmade by local carpenters, and it will be an extraordinary park and nothing that you have seen 10,000 times already.
I really love
Um,
this idea that use the local carpenters instead of like just to bring importing different objects from other countries that costs too much money because of the import and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And if you do that, then you also have easier to customize the building, because, as you said about interaction, I work as a teacher, and I know that everyone, every child, every youth, every adult wants to learn, and if you make it accessible for them to learn, you know, if you have this swing, or even better, this trampoline, then the child learns to have balance, good motor skills. If you have these spinning things, then they get great fine motor skills. And if you can add on the layer with speaking or noise, not noise but sound, you know, bird singing and such, with IoT to the parks, then you have language part and the learning skills. So I think 2021 is the year when we can put in the digital in the park, because I think I understand why people think it's bad to have digital stuff in the parks, but don't put an iPad there. You know, make stuff that should be there for the children to have more fun and learn stuff.
Mm.
Uh, then we will see even more great kids who learn stuff at a more rapid speed than they already do, you know.
In this podcast, I talk a lot with my guest about what is a smart city and so on. Many people mention that smart city is not only about the objects, about us being smart people. And like now you're mentioning that kids being smarter, learning things. So it's also part of a smart city. But Joakim, how do you think we can achieve this kind of playgrounds? How do we do it? So like if I am a landscape architect or urban designer, but I have zero knowledge in IT things or programming? How do I do it?
I think the first and most important thing is to try to think like a child, and then if you are gonna do that, you need a child. So borrow a child from your neighbor or your sister or someone, and think, how would you like to have fun in this park with, yeah, like, would you like a bird who sang? Yeah, maybe. Okay, then we make a bird here, and if they press the bird, what happens then? Maybe a crocodile open his mouth. Okay, and if you have all that imagined and ready, then it's no problem to develop it. You have great carpenters in each city. You have great IoT people maybe in the bigger cities at least, and you have passionate people. That's the most important. People who wants to make this stuff because they see how happy the children will be, and how totally awesome it would be to have a park with a crocodile that tries to bite your hand off if you're not fast enough or something. So I think just don't be scared about the limits, because there is no limits if people want to collaborate and make something great.
Yeah. Do you think it's our responsibility as designers to find these people and collaborate with them, or who's responsible for this?
Yeah, because it's you that are getting the fine appointed project from the
city,
or or whoever decides, and you sit on the money if you use those words and can make stuff happen. Sadly, if you come from the bottom and want to make something great, then it's too much fuss on the way. But if you that starts on the top can have the vision and invite people, then I think it's easier. So I think it's a part of your job now in 2021. I can understand that it wasn't in the year 2000 or even before, but now it's a new world, and you have to change your way of working, otherwise you're out of work.
Exactly, and that's why I'm so happy that you give your time to inspire us, because we always need to how to say, to change and be more creative, and the world is changing in every single minute.
Yeah, I work in IT, so it's 4 years in 1 year, and I can understand in your type of business that it's the same, and I don't think it's so hard, really. You just have to use your imagination, and I think that cityscapers, I heard you called that about sometimes, but it's your work to think creative. I don't think it's any problem. If there's any problem with coming up with IoT things in parks, you can call me. I help you.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. We're getting paid to be creative. Yeah, it's part of our.
And that's a fantastic job. Many jobs is not creative, but if you have one of those who are, then you should be very lucky, because you can make very many people happy.
True. Joakim, tell me more about what things that makes you happy as a dad in a playground.
I love to see my daughter smile and laugh. It's like it's imprinted in my head when I shut my eyes, and I'm just smiling with all my body, and that makes me the most happy. So that's the best part with this journey we've been on, that I have seen so many smiles and laughs, and that is the main goal, I think, when you create a playground, that you should make people happy and smile, and then you have won. You can't pay a child to be happy. You just have to make something fun.
Are there other elements that makes you as a dad happy? You mentioned that you want more interactive objects that you play with together with your child. Are there other stuff?
Yeah, when we started this journey, she couldn't barely walk. She could barely walk, and now she can get up from staircases, just because she wants to be on that. I'm gonna look now what I call it in English. Rutschkana slide is the English word. She learns because she wants to go on the slide, so she learns to walk and climb, and that makes me very happy that I see her develop. It's not just fun, it's fun and learning.
Yeah,
and that's the most beautiful part. It's the same in my school. My kids have fun and they learn. I think everything should be both fun and learning. The schools for just learning, they are failing and should go away. Everything should be fun and learn, even in your job. When you learn something new, it should be fun. Otherwise, it's not very nice and boring.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. I also was 1 year, what do you call it, a high school teacher.
Yeah.
And my main goal was like how to make this fun. Otherwise, like it's really boring and sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And when you study yourself, like when you become a computer scientist or teacher, then it's your job because you're grown up. It's your job to make it fun for yourself. So it's when you're a child, then you should always get that one free. But when you're grown up, you should.
So, Joakim, let's continue with the conversation.
Yeah.
And now I have this question about mention 5 things that make you and your daughter will never go to a playground like this with these 5 things.
Yeah. This is a very hard question now. Of course, if the park is unmaintained and broken down, it's not attractive to either me or as a parent or my daughter as a child, because if it looks shit, then it probably is shit many times, if I use those words. Because if it's grass grown taller than the child, then you don't know what's under there. So then you lose the hype of the park directly. Uh, Other things that is not so nice for the parents, for many of my friends who have children in different groups of different age groups, it's not so nice if there is just fun for like a 4-year-old or fun things for like a 1-year-old, because then the other one gets angry and doesn't want to be there.
Mhm.
And I feel the same sometimes when we are away, some parents in a park, when it's just one swing, why is it just one swing? If it's a park, then there should be at least 2 swings for 2 children.
Yeah.
So they have to think about that. Then one thing that one of my buddies, I saw him sweating when we was in a park yesterday, is when a climbing thing, when you have a slide, you climb up to the slide for the child. The child climbs up to the slide, and then it's the slide, and it's the way the child climbed up, and it's another way to go down. It's 3 ways for the child to just fall down and hurt himself. And
Oh,
you're just one parent. It's I
you cannot run around and
yeah, well, exactly, because it's a slide on one way, and then the other way it's something other, and so things like that, I think city planners should think about a bit, because I understand if you don't have a child that you don't think about it, but if you have a child, then it's the most dangerous thing in the world.
Mm, mm, mm. Other any other aspects that you want to mention?
No, I think that's yeah, of course, don't put it close to a big road or a train station or such.
Mm,
Think where you put the park. It's
yeah.
a good tip.
Mm.
Um, uh, a fun thing that some parks do is that they have a theme. I like that very much. Don't buy the big mega stuff and put down. Make your own with a theme. In Västerås, we have the Poesy Parken. It's a poem park or a poem playground, and each little plaything has a poem attached to it. So then you can read the poem for the child, and he can run away, or you can have a discussion about it. And for an example, they have a beetle there who's laying on his back. So that one is the thing for the child to have train his balance on, instead of just a platform that you can shake. It's a beetle. So use your imagination to customize the things to look more fun, because
Yeah.
it's more fun for both the parent and the child that way.
That's true. So now we are talking on different aspects, different levels. The first one is location. The location of the park shouldn't be like really close to a railway or a highway. And then we are talking. You mentioned also like how clean is the park, how maintained it is,
Yeah.
and the design or the theme of the park. That it's more lovely to you to visit the park with one theme, clear idea of the design and the objects.
Yeah, exactly. And more parks, more newly parks are made by wooden materials, and if there is a very nice forest around the park, then that's very more attractive than a metal thing that just looks out of place. So that's something to think about. How does the surroundings look, and what can we put here to minimize the yeah the mark on the surroundings.
To make it like part of the environment around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I'm really happy to talk with you. It's you cannot imagine how interesting, inspiring it is to talk with a user of what we do. So thank you so much again for giving your time for this.
Thank you for listening to me. It's fun to babble on.
Now you're telling like a really good story. So tell me, you mentioned a little bit about the next step of your project. You're gonna meet the city, and what are you going to talk about?
I think they will want to hear what we think about the parks, and after we give them some critique, maybe we can help them make it better. My what's it called? Brother-in-law, he thought I should be a park consultant, so maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my new career, that I start working professionally with this. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's fun if I can help the cities make better parks, or the private companies also. I've been contacted by a private building master. I don't know what it's called in English, but he who builds the park, and we have a nice discussion about the levels of the steps to enter the park. Like I said, my daughter fell every
Yeah,
time in the
yeah.
beginning, and we discussed why they had to be such height levels, and maybe it doesn't have to be tripping stones for the children everywhere.
Yeah.
So
So
if I can help, I like it.
Yeah, so you became a kind of popular and fancy person to talk with when it comes to designing playgrounds.
Yeah, and hopefully people listen and just doesn't put the Parkpappa stamp on it, and just actually make something of what I think.
Yeah.
If it's good, I don't know. Much of the time I just spit out things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now after you went around, did the Instagram rating, and now you're gonna talk with the city. So if you look back and see what you did together with your daughter, what do you feel now like?
I'm both proud and happy. We had an adventure together. This was our thing, and I will always remember it. Not only for the great publicity that it gave us, but also of every morning when we went up and said which playground we're gonna test today. It was an adventure every day of the father leave. So I'm gonna remember it fondly for the rest of my life.
I love it. And do you have like any other ideas about what is gonna be the next? Maybe like you're gonna test bus stations or I don't know, railway stations and rate them, or you don't have this idea for the next project?
My original idea was to test every open kindergarten. In Sweden, we have kindergartens for the fathers and mothers and child to visit together during the maternity leave. But now many of them are closed due to Corona. But I visited a few, and it's also there are people working there, so it's a bit more sensitive to give them grades. But
Yeah.
I'm at least going to put up other things than parks, than playgrounds, that can be fun to do as a family. Like museums and water parks and forests. There's a
Yeah.
forest in the outside of Västerås with small stones shaped and drawn like characters, and many people don't know about that. So I think I'm gonna try to use my fame to spread word of good and fun stuff.
I love it. I love it. And I will keep in touch with you because I guess you're gonna do a really great and interesting work and telling great stories in the future.
Yeah, I thought you would say great second child and do this carousel all over again.
Well, this is your own plan and business. So tell me now, how important, before we finish, how important is it for you as a user to raise up your voice to tell that this works, this not working? Because not so many people complain or talk about this.
I think that's the problem. People complain. People's favorite habit is to complain. The problem is they don't complain to the right people, because you would love to hear their complaints, but they don't have they don't complain to you because it's too much of a work. So they just complain to each other. They can in Västerås, they can contact the city. It's quite fun because all the parks have a number on my Instagram, and that number is on a little plate in half of the parks. On the other half, they have forgotten it or it's destroyed or something. So I have to call the city or email bomb them, every week a couple of times. So if your city is like Västerås, then it's very easy to just call the city and tell them this park is dangerous or this park sucks, and they will get back to you.
Mm-hmm. Do the city likes you now or hates you?
I don't dare to answer that. No, I think they gotten accustomed to me now. In the beginning, I think they thought I was a real lunatic. Emailed them numbers and asked what they were called in their system and stuff. So I think they have learned who I am, and it's okay to be a lunatic, I think.
They'd be like, okay, just block him from block his email address.
I will apologize right now when I'm on the internet to the poor administrator of Västerås City. I have given her a lot of extra work.
I can imagine, but I also think it's a very brave of the city that they invited you, and they see the potential of you doing this, and they didn't really ignore you. So it's also like they are showing a good way of taking what you say in consideration.
Yes, of course. I think Västerås City is my biggest supporter. Them and all the fans or followers on Instagram or whatever they're called. They are real good support, and they have never said anything bad. The city, they just give me the park number, and I'm on to the next.
Would you like to say something more for the listeners? They are from so many different countries, like something to finish with.
Yeah, use your imagination and use children when you develop it, and don't be scared to make something different. If your budget is 1 million, but use 100 and use carpenters and your own creativity, and maybe the children can paint stuff on the park. Try to make it a park of passion and not a park of money. I think that's the key to fun, both for you as the developer and the people who will use it. I think every child that can be in a park and tell the others that my daddy was in on this and wrote that sign or something, I think they're very proud and have more blast in it then.
I love it. Thank you so much again, Joakim, and hopefully talk to you again in your future projects.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you very much, Mustafa. It's been a blast.
Take care and stay safe.
Yeah, same to you. Ciao.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. You learned something new and also got inspired by the guest. Don't forget to share the episode on your social media and recommend it to people you think they are really interested in this topic. Thank you so much again for giving your valuable time to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.